Hey guys, as promised, I wanted to jump right into part two of Funeral Home Talk with Annayyyy regarding my aunt's passing. So, we were with my aunt, I want to say about 4 or 5 hours from the time that we arrived to the airport. We went home and slept, I would say maybe 3 to 4 hours before it was time to get up, shower, get ready, and go back to my aunt's viewing. They ended up having a 2-day viewing because the weather in California has been so crazy and she has a lot of kids in Sacramento. Unfortunately, there was no early flights going out of Sacramento to Guadalajara on Saturday. So they had to wait for an 11 p.m. flight, which ended up arriving at about 5 in the morning. So we had an extra day to basically say bye to my tia. And it was nice. It was nice seeing my family both near and far. Very sad how it has to come down to someone passing in order for family to come together. We saw each other, we talked, we, caught up, remembering my aunt. We had laughs, we had cries, we had acts of regret. That's one thing that even working in the industry, I've seen a lot of. I see a lot of families that I have met with that some come in fighting. I think that's one of the most sad things to see is when families are fighting over materialistic things. Regardless of what, we're all headed the same way. It doesn't matter your religion, your political views. None of that matters because at the end of the day, we're all going to pass on. And guess what? You won't take anything with you. I can guarantee you that. So we came together. We were there with my aunt. Day and night, like I said. The following day, it hit hard. The following day, it was time to really say goodbye. And the way things work in Mexico, the way funeral homes do things, is you transport the body in the hearse, of course, and everybody that wants to join walks behind the hearse. You're walking to the church. So we're walking to the church, and I noticed this black dog. It was like a black Labrador. Nobody paid any mind to it. It's Mexico. Out here in California, you see stray cats. In Mexico, you see stray dogs. So it was nothing out of the ordinary. So we thought. So we're walking to the church, and there's this dog behind the hearse, circling the hearse as if he was guarding it. And, we're walking. Everybody's, praying the rosary. Most of my family is Catholic, so we do believe that you have to pray the rosary 9 times, which is called el novenario. And each and every time you pray it, it's as if your loved one is climbing up another stair and another stair. And it is believed that there's 9 steps to get to heaven. Going back to us walking to church, again, this dog, he's circling the hearse. Everybody's thinking, just a dog. He might want food. I don't know. We keep walking. I mean, the church was a distance. I want to say the church was about half a mile. Walking, it's a little walk. So the dog would not leave. And it kept circling the hearse, circling the hearse. Whenever the hearse would come to a stop, the dog would stop right behind it. And so we kept walking. Next thing you know, a bunch of stray dogs come up to this dog and start attacking it, biting it. At this point, I'm like, hey, I yelled at him, hey, stop, go away. Over there in Mexico, that's one thing about stray dogs is as soon as you yell at them, they run. They did bite the dog and the dog fled. So we're thinking, okay, it's a stray dog. He's gone. All right, cool. No, wrong. He ran away, but then he came back. And same thing, he kept circling the hearse, circling the hearse. Whenever the hearse would come to a stop, he would either sit right behind it or sit right in front of it. So we finally get to the church, and there's a lot of stairs to go up. So a few guys had to help carry my aunt, and in her casket. This dog runs up the stairs before anybody and goes straight into the church. He goes straight into the church, and he sits away from the people as if he knew, you know what? Let me not be in their way. Let me sit on this side, but yet close enough to be next to my aunt. At this point, we're questioning. My dad's like, hey, hold on. What's going on? He asks one of my cousins, which is her daughter, hey, was that your mom's dog? Like, I don't remember your mom having a dog. And she said, no, tío. No, uncle. That's not my mom's dog. She didn't own any dogs. Okay. So we're like, well, you know what? Maybe it belongs to the men from the funeral home. Maybe that's what it is. It's their dog, or they fed them, or no, it wasn't theirs either. These guys came from a whole different town. And they said, no, that's not our dog. And no, we never feed dogs because we know that if we feed them out here, they won't go away. So at this point, we're like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but, let's go ahead. Let's get into church. Let's sit down. Church started. The priest was, giving his prayer and giving his final words for my aunt. And he mentions the dog. He said, one thing that I've never noticed when I've done funeral homes in here is that animals join. This dog was literally laying there, just waiting. As soon as church was over, we're like, okay, he's gonna leave. He has to leave. Mind you, nobody gave him water. Nobody gave him food. So you would think, oh, he's gonna leave. He's like, all right, these people, they're stingy. No me van a dar nada. They won't give me anything. No. And two, the cemetery now this time was, I want to say, about 1.5 miles or 2 miles away from the church. And again, a lot of people walked. So we're thinking, no, the dog's going to get tired. He's not going to stick. Oh, he's stuck. He kept the same thing he was doing on our way to the church is the same thing he was doing on our way to the cemetery. Circling the hearse, stopping behind it or in front of it whenever the hearse would come to a stop. But always close to where my aunt's body was. So we get to the cemetery, and again, everything is so different in Mexico. Here, at least in California, in Southern California, whenever you take a body to the cemetery, that's it. You're not opening the casket no more. We're not allowed to. So there's no final goodbye. The final goodbyes are to be had either in the church or in the funeral home. But once we transport the body to the cemetery, there's no more final goodbyes. That's it. The casket is locked because we actually have a key. We have to lock the casket, and that's it. At the cemetery, no open caskets. Well, that's not the case in Mexico. In Mexico, they have, again, it's like a little chapel, and it's the area for the final goodbye. That's where the family comes together. If you have music like mariachi, my aunt had mariachi, they're playing their music. Again, the dog was there. The dog was there through it all. We finally walk to her gravesite. Now this is where she's going to be lowered into the ground. Everybody, scrams. Everybody, gets over there trying to find a piece of shade. It was extremely, extremely hot out there. We get over there. The burial happens. And everybody's like, hey, what happened to the dog? Well, the dog was gone. So after my aunt was lowered into the ground, we couldn't find the dog anymore. The dog disappeared in thin air, literally. Nobody seen him leave the cemetery. Nothing. We just didn't know what happened to the dog. And I know it's crazy, and some people may say, oh God, here we go with those beliefs of, oh, it was my loved one. You know what? Everyone has their beliefs. Everybody grieves differently. Everybody tries to find their peace of mind one way or another. And I would like to think that dog symbolized my uncle Or maybe it was my uncle in spirit. Because one thing about my uncle, when he was alive, he would take care of my aunt like no other. He would make sure she was always good, well clothed, well fed. The list goes on. And honestly, that gives me a peace of mind. It gives me a peace of mind to believe that maybe that was him. And that was him letting us know, hey, you guys don't have to worry. I can take it from here because she's up here with me now. And it gives me, again, I don't get tired of saying it. It gives me a peace of mind. So to reiterate everything that happened, no. Just because we work in the funeral industry, it doesn't mean we don't hurt when we lose one of our own. Now, it may sound rude, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but how can you feel something for someone that's nothing to you, that you've never met? You can't. I can honestly say I'm empathetic towards families, yes. I put myself in their shoes, and I treat them how I would want to be treated when the time comes that I have to sit on the other side of the table, that I have to make arrangements for my loved one. I wouldn't want somebody to step in and rush me. I wouldn't want somebody with an attitude. No. So I treat my families with respect. The most important thing to me working in the industry is becoming part of their family. I want these families to trust me. I want these families to know, hey, your loved one is being taken care of with the utmost respect. I don't want you to worry about the funeral aspect of it. I just want you to grieve. I don't want you to have any hiccups through this whole funeral and planning. I will take care of that. You worry about grieving. You worry about saying goodbye to your loved one. I will take care of the rest for you. I will make sure their casket is in order. I will make sure their urn, if you decide to have your loved one cremated, is ordered for. I will make sure that we have the death certificate on time and the permit on time in order to bury or cremate your loved one whenever you want it done. I will make sure their makeup and their hair is tidy and that they look beautiful and at peace. I love my job. But it does not mean that I don't hurt when one of mine parts ways. I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Again, I apologize for it taking so long. God bless you guys. Hope that you listen to this next time. Next episode will definitely be about how I was introduced to the funeral home and maybe a little glimpse of some of the experiences that I've had. Bye for now.